allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will start with activity reports. I had a bunch of meetings last week, 3 in one day, that was enough. Went to the liquor board, policies and procedures twice, got those contracts done, EDAP, and call with the governor's office, and then the downtown meeting. So, Mr. Neal?
Only thing, policy and procedures twice. And that's on tonight's agenda. Hopefully we
Get that all settled.
have our contracts ready to verify.
Yep. Megan?
We had the Lions picnic.
Oh yeah, I had that too.
Yeah, you did.
Missed one.
With the park board, and I also was at a Painesville Community Foundation board meeting.
There's a seal coating.
Okay, and
Planning Commission is all I have.
Okay.
Last Monday.
okay. Department head reports where Ron is up.
All right, thank you. First of all, remember Thursday night says concert in the park, so I know the last couple times we had very good showings out there. Let's see, the Abbey Park Shelter pre-concert, Thursday, so that project will be getting started here soon. Our seal coating is scheduled for Thursday tentatively, subject to change, but it is coming also in. I'd like to remind residents to please take care of their grass. If it's over the 6 inches, please cut it. And also, if you have any trees that need trimming, like to see them at least 7 feet above the sidewalks, 12 feet above the roadways. Just a reminder again, the air show, August 24th. Our third round of PFAS sampling will be July the 30th. And the gentleman who was working on the alley improvement up by Washburn Avenue decided to pull back on it and is not pursuing it at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Any questions for Ron? Anybody? If not, Tark.
All right, I had a lot of similar or overlapping meetings with you guys, the liquor board, of course, EDAP meeting, policies and procedures. We also had the environmental board meeting, park and tree. Jean and I were on the governor's call to talk about the natural gas coming into the city and what we can do to increase the flow. And then Kristen and I had head election training or judge training in Waite Park last week. So that's what I have.
Anybody have any questions for Tark? Guess we saw him at meetings all week. Okay, nobody's here for the consent agenda. I am going, for the public forum. On the consent agenda, we're going to pull the resignation of Holly Reen because we have not verified that with her yet, so. Other than that, anybody have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to accept.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made by Neil and seconded by Megan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's passed. We will move Mike up, I bet, would be good. And so we will go down to the truck, so fire department sold the truck. Page 51. Anybody got
We
any?
only got one bid on it,
Oh, really?
and that was, I'm assuming it's Collins Brothers.
It is,
That was Bill, yeah.
yep.
Okay, I thought you had several. All right.
That's good that we got such a good price then.
Yes.
Wow. Just trying to get to that page. Okay, so we got $6,200 for it, or 60,
250.
yeah, 55 even.
55.
Do we have a motion approving selling that truck?
I'll move to accept the bid from Phil Collins, the amount of $6,255. The truck is sold as is with no warranties expressed or implied, and the bidder is responsible for all tax, title, and licensing fees.
Second.
Okay, Megan has made the motion to approve the bid from Phil Collins for $6,255 for the truck as is. They'll take care of all tax, license, and title fees. And the second was made by Neil. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sold the truck.
And I can call him tomorrow.
Coming, have them come again?
Okay.
They can transfer title right here. They pick it up.
Convenient.
It sounded like that's what you wanted to do when I talked. What is going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Thank you very
right.
much.
You bet. You
Have a good night.
I you too. Okay, back up to old business, page 7,
All right.
our strategic plan.
Yes, we had a strategic plan, we had a strategic planning session. You guys all participated, plus we had some members of the community. Centricare was represented there, the chamber was represented there, and
School.
the school was represented as well. And what I want to do is the presentation, there are some slides in the deck there as well as the actual strategic plan, but I just want to highlight a few points. I don't want to go through the entire presentation. The goal overall, of course, was to develop a long-term direction for the city. We want to have a discussion and evaluation of the current conditions, which we did. And then, of course, we went on to develop some goals for ourselves. And the strategic plan focused on 6 areas. All of them are detailed in the presentation as well as the plan. Number 1 is welcoming, or we want to have a welcoming and inviting community. We want to have a vibrant and thriving city that inspires sustainable growth. We want to have leadership through listening. We want to be responsible. We want to be fiscally responsible, and we also want quality of life through accessible amenities for all seasons. So we went into that into some more detail. Then, of course, we summarized, or we came up with some key goals that we want to focus on, as well as some detailed goals going forward. And I just want to touch on the 6 key goals that we had outlined for ourselves. Surprisingly, when it came time for everybody to vote, and this is all based on voting, I think we identified 29 goals and we prioritized them. So the 6 that got the most interest in pursuing right away were: number 1, build a new liquor store; number 2, develop and reach a new annexation agreement with the township; number 3, add illuminated crosswalks and improve the pedestrian safety crossing along Highway 55. That's primarily for the school. Number 4, develop communication strategies around a vision, purpose, and background, i.e. why, and model healthy communication. For example, someone suggested How the City Works series, something like that. Number 5, review, change roadblocks to development investment where possible, or investment development. And then number 6, create a solution to address our housing problem. Those are the 6 key priorities that we are to focus on. And I guess, or based on this strategic plan, these are the 6 key initiatives that we are to look at immediately. And of course, there are other initiatives or other goals that we had outlined, which anyone can read in the plan after that. So I just want to highlight or summarize the key objectives of this. But I think this was done not just with us, but it was done with participation from others in the community. And I thought that overall it was a good exercise to do. What happens next after this, I think, is we want to tie this to our downtown committee and what we're doing to try to redevelop downtown. And the next step would be to kind of come up with a vision for what we want to have downtown. Anybody have any questions on this? Okay.
Oh, I think we're,
So the full report is available. Anybody can read it. It's a public document.
I should go back, and I forgot to say what was in the consent agenda. Nobody corrected me, but I thought I would say list them now. The minutes from various meetings, the vouchers, which I don't have the total in front of me now because I went down to page 20.
Yeah. Oh.
And then the resignation of a liquor store clerk hurting and appointment of the election judges were all on the consent agenda. So I'm sorry I missed all that. And the sewer installation license. But we approved it anyway. So. Moving on, unless somebody has a question from there that wasn't brought up. We will move on to the memorandum between the City of Painesville and ASME that we have a agreement with.
Yeah, if you remember, we discussed this at the last meeting. However, there was one outstanding item, which was on the wage scale, which wage scale we're going with. Everything else in there was per what we agreed to in policies and procedures. So we had another meeting with ASME representatives, and we kind of agreed to the wage scale, which is the DDA recommended wage scale. It basically takes our current wage scale, which has had too many grades in it or steps in it. We went from 20 to down to 11, so it's more condensed and more in line with a city of our size. So we agreed to that, and of course, we went through the numbers with them, and it was agreed that we will adopt that. So what you see in front of you is the agreement that we came to with ASME, which hadn't changed from the previous council agenda. We just added the wage scale that we agreed to.
Otherwise, nothing's changed. It's
Nothing
the
has
same-
changed, yes.
Same agreement. Does anybody have any questions on that agreement? It's good for 3 years, so
Yes, it's a 3-year agreement.
do we have a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the City of Painesville and ASME Council 65?
I'll make the motion to approve the MOA between City of Painesville and ASME Council 65.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Neil, seconded by Megan to approve the memorandum of agreement between the City of Painesville and the ASME Council 65. Is there any more discussion?
I guess I'll just say, being on the committee, it's a pretty lucrative contract, but we appreciate our employees. In order to retain, we thought it was necessary.
Yep. We made that clear, our employees are important to us. So, if there's nothing else, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that carried. What do we need that second motion for?
It was if we didn't approve, maybe?
Let me see here quickly.
I
was just there, now you made me move it.
Well, I don't know would it be motion to approve contract?
Well, it's for non-union.
Because they get the same contract.
Yeah, there is something in here for non-union because there are several of us who are non-union.
Right.
However, this is, I think, something that we can bring up to another meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what we're,
Yeah.
We'll have to have another policies and procedures meeting with the non-union members and then
Okay.
have that discussion and bring it back.
okay. All right, we will move on then and hold off on that. Cannabis, our favorite topic.
Bill loves it.
Yeah, don't we all?
Both bills, actually.
So, I mean, this was brought up to draft an interim ordinance to create a moratorium and set up a study. And so I think the council just wanted to see what this would look like if that was their choice. So I drafted this. I included section 4 because I assumed that we wanted to exempt businesses that already had licenses for the edibles, drinkables, whatever. So the moratorium, the way I drafted it, wouldn't apply to them. It applies to any new license.
It still wouldn't apply to the drinks or gummies, would it? Or is it anything?
It would, I think.
Okay.
No, it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to the gummies. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't apply to that stuff.
And it expires at the end of this year, or if we choose to do away with it.
Right. So, and the important thing is, you know, if we're gonna do this, we have to actually create a committee to study what you wanna do in terms of the regulation that you can do, and actually have meetings and talk about those things. And I think at the last meeting, you were provided with a copy of the, kind of the document that had been created by the Office of Cannabis Management, their proposed ordinance. So you can kind of see that in there, if you look at that, you can see the kinds of things that as a city you can regulate. And I think basically you need to decide what is it that we would want to do in terms of regulation.
Why are we doing a moratorium?
Yeah, that was my next question.
Huh?
I mean, what is the downside for not doing the moratorium?
I mean, why do we think we need one?
Well,
We
this,
can't sell the stuff anyway yet.
Well,
Right, I mean, I don't know, this whole thing started because of the talk about growing, which theoretically there could be a grower's license issued. And so I think the council was like, well, we don't really want a grower anywhere, so let's do a moratorium. I mean, I think that was the sentiment that I got from at least a certain number of people on the council. And so that was my marching orders, was to draft a moratorium. We could do the ordinance that I think I had presented last time, or a modification of that ordinance regulating where growers could be, but nothing else can even exist yet.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's,
and I think the county went with,
they went with the moratorium.
right, and so we're kind of matching what the county's doing.
Yeah, but if all it's gonna do is stop growers from getting a license, then all we need to do is make an ordinance where they can't grow it except in, and we don't have any, I mean, except in ag land.
that was kind of, I mean, I wasn't asking for a moratorium because I don't want them to do it. I don't know yet. You know, I want to see what kind of operations we're talking about, because I don't know that it's even going to be a thing,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't know. And so that's why I asked, because I wanted time to look into what it is actually, what we're actually talking about here. And I don't think the end of the year is that out of line, because, you know, like anybody's going to get something together and do some big grow operation
I don't
this
think
many
we're gonna
months anyway,
I don't
so.
think we're gonna see anything.
I don't know, I support one until the end of the year, until we can kind of look at what we're actually talking about, because I'm not sure if restricting it to ag is, you know, not a good idea, or if it is, so I'd prefer some time to look into it, but,
Yeah,
That's
and
just me.
we'll probably be able to see, between now and the end of the year, we might see some grow operations
Yeah.
start in the state and get a sense of what they look like, you know? But my thought was were gonna look like a greenhouse, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Yeah.
they're gonna be really huge. I don't know.
I don't know.
well, and that's kind of, you know, is it even something we need to be concerned about? But again, I don't know, and I'd like to see them and see what we're even talking about before I make a decision, personally.
I think it should get kicked back to policies and procedures so they can hammer it out a little bit better and then come back and have the hearing for August 26th.
Well, I mean, they're just gonna talk about, they're not gonna talk about what we should do, they're just gonna, like, as far
They'll
as
just
an ordinance,
read
they're
the
just gonna
ordinance,
say a
yeah.
moratorium or not. I think we can decide a moratorium or not, right?
Right, I think so.
I have no problem with the motion and to have the public hearing.
On the 12th.
Yeah, we might as well just do the public hearing.
Yep, because I don't see that policy and procedures is gonna recommend anything different.
No, I don't either,
It's just a
considering.
difference of 2 weeks then, because they're just gonna discuss to have the public hearing or not on the 26th.
Right.
So it's 2 weeks. We're having a public hearing on the 12th or the 26th. That's kind of all that'll be decided.
Yeah. Okay, somebody want to make a motion to one of those?
I'll move to proceed with the cannabis moratorium and set the public hearing for Monday, August 12th, 2024 at 6:30 PM.
Second,
Okay, motion's been made by Megan, seconded by Neil to hold a cannabis moratorium public hearing on Monday, August 12th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that carried.
And you wanted the moratorium, right?
It's a moratorium one.
Okay.
To proceed
Yep.
with and set a
Yep.
public hearing for that, yes.
And we sold the truck, so we can move to selling now a truck box.
yes.
Is there a value of that truck box? Do we know what it would be worth?
I would think a minimum of $2,500.
Okay. was just curious.
But yes, obviously, we got the new truck is in, it is up and running, we do have the new utility box on it, it is all in use, so the, either the utility or the box on there can be surplused, and we would like to do so via min bid.
Is the truck white?
White.
Is it white too? Okay, just need to know who's driving what. Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to sell a box?
I have a question first.
Sure.
We're selling 3 items separately, correct?
No, I think we were gonna put them all into one.
Oh, it's all one?
Yes.
Okay.
Says pickup truck with the bumper and receiver.
I guess if we want, we could sell them separately, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking there might be somebody that wants that heavy-duty hitch or needs a bumper but not a box.
The way it was intended was to sell them all together.
And that way, if they can buy them all and they can resell the other part if they don't want
Well.
it.
Do you know what years that box fits? How far back?
I did not look.
It says here we're,
I mean, it's brand spanking new. You weren't gonna,
I think this is, it says motion to declare the new 8-foot box from
Yeah.
the 2024 Dodge. We're not selling the new one, we just.
The new
bought-
box, yes.
The new
Oh, the new
they're
box,
Putting a
okay.
different
Because
box.
they put a utility box on it.
Oh,
For the
okay.
utility box.
Oh, I got it. I was gonna say, we're selling a brand new box, yeah. That's why we can get $2,500.
Well, we should get the price for the new utility box.
Yeah.
Is that about 18,000?
on min bid, can you put a minimum?
Yeah, you can. So. Okay. Does anybody wish to make a motion to sell it?
I'll make the motion to declare the box, the bumper and the hitch as surplus property and advertise for bids on min bid. And the local residents can be notified on the city webpage and Facebook.
Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Paul. Okay, motion was made by Neil, seconded by Paul to declare that new 8-foot box from the 2024 Dodge 3500 pickup truck with the bumper and it says receiver, but you said hitch, so I'm assuming it's more of a hitch, as surplus property and advertised for bids on min bid. Local residents will be notified on the city's website and on Facebook. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, we're selling a truck box. Now it says to set a joint meeting.
Yeah, this is to talk about the water contamination report.
Oh yeah, we do need to talk about that with the other committees.
Yes. So there are a
Well,
bunch of
we-
dates here.
Well, the 21st, we have our downtown meeting,
Okay.
and the 27th is the annual meeting of the museum, so I couldn't.
A week in September, I'll be gone.
Well, you finally bought tickets?
Hmm?
You finally bought your tickets?
Not quite, but working on it.
So we got Wednesday the 28th, Thursday the 29th. I probably couldn't be there 29th, so looks like Thursday the 22nd or Thursday the 29th.
I'm good with either.
Wednesday, the 28th is not good?
No, that's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
I like that.
Wednesday the 28th.
Yep.
Megan?
I think that's okay. That should work.
Around that time, we're going to be setting our fire meeting too, but it hasn't been set yet.
Okay.
We're talking end of August sometime. But anyway, we can set this one first.
Yeah, then they'll do, there's a different day. On a Tuesday or something. Okay,
So August 28, Wednesday.
so do we need somebody to make a motion?
Yep.
I'll make that the motion to have the joint council, environmental and wellhead and public works Wednesday, August 28th. Is at 6 p.m.
Yep,
Didn't say, but sure.
that's what it says on the motion. 6.
Oh, You're okay.
And I'll second.
Yeah. Motion's made by Neil, seconded by Paul to hold a special council and environmental wellhead public works meeting for August 28th at 6 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have another meeting. That's my son's wedding anniversary. All right, we have to set, well, we'll talk about the TIF.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right, Nelson Plastics is looking to expand on the lot that it already owns next to it, next to its current building, wants to build another building there. And we'll probably look to add 5 or 6 new jobs as well as, adding in, some new business for them. So they are requesting tax increment financing or TIF. And they have, we went through the process with them and went through the application. So what we need to do now to proceed is to just set a public hearing for this.
First, we're approving a resolution calling for the public hearing.
Yes.
So, does somebody have a motion to,
2 motions.
or questions?
I'll make the first motion to approve Resolution 24-21, calling public hearing on the proposed establishment of tax increment financing district number 1-17 within Municipal Development District number 1. The proposed adoption of a tax increment financing plan relating thereto and the proposed granting of a business subsidy for Nestla Properties LLC.
That's not a typo, that's,
It is Nelsa Properties, because it's both Wayne Nelson and Brian Savage. So
Okay.
they formed a new company. Just so you know. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion is made by Paul, seconded by Megan, as printed on the action sheet. I don't think I'm going to read it again. So, any more discussion on that? Because we're going to be having a hearing, so. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion's done. Well, now we have to do a second one, setting the hearing.
Yeah, I'll make that second motion. Motion to set special city council meeting to hold an establishment of the TIF and business subsidy public hearing on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM.
Second.
Motion's been made by Paul and seconded by Neil to set up a special city council meeting to hold a establishment of the TIF and business subsidy public hearing on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6:30. Any more discussion on that? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we got that? Now we have to move on. Employee training certificates.
yeah, this came about because
Gene.
Human Resources usually keeps track of all the,
Oh, no, this is after the meeting.
usually keeps track of all the training certificates for employees.
Oh, yep.
However, the police department is slightly different because of the requirements. They need to have access to them as well. So we tried to find a way for them to maybe both have access to it, but nothing was ideal. So what we're recommending and suggesting is that HR maintains the records training records for all employees except the police department. Police departments maintains the records for police officers while they are hired. Once they leave the city, then the records will be transferred to Human Resources for safekeeping.
That kind of makes sense.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2024-22 regarding training certificates for city employees of the city of Painesville.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made by Neil, seconded by Megan to approve Resolution 2024-22 regarding training certificates for city employees of the city of Painesville. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, got that. Next, another one of our fun subjects.
Oh, yeah. Ron loves chloride.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we've been dealing with this chloride issue now for 3 years, and so far, we've actually done very little. Over that period of time, initially when it started the first year, our chloride levels were running in that 350 to 400. You know, we did a little bit, the letters with the water softeners. Our chloride levels actually came down from that level down to approximately 220 to 250, right in that range. But we are finding that our sodium levels are still around the same as what they were, and they're also around a 220 level. But I guess we've had some conversations with some of the farmers, and what they're finding is, especially in our heavy textured soils, that the sodium is what they think is really binding up and turning some of the soils very hard and impervious almost, that it will not let the moisture penetrate through it.
Oh dear.
So I guess our first step, we'd like Bolton and Mink to do a little work with possibly an agronomist, the University of Minnesota, et cetera, and find out where do we need to be for these crops to not be affected by this. I think that's our first step, and once we got that, then hopefully we'll start looking at some solutions. We've been waiting quite a long time for the MPCA to come out with some grant to help us assist with this. And I know there is a salt symposium coming up that Bolton and Mink is actually putting on, so Chuck, maybe you can add a little onto this.
No, I think you covered it for the most part. You know, the biggest thing is just trying to determine where those levels are. They're going to vary a little bit based on soil conditions, because just different soils are going to react different way to the chlorides and sodium. So it's just taken, you know, we've always tried to toy with where is that right level, and fortunately you don't have a limit for your wastewater plant like a lot of cities that go to a surface water would have. But obviously, it's still impacting the crops, and we just want to get to a point where we can set that limit to strive for, to get down to those levels so that there's no crop impacts.
So one thing that I'm a little concerned about, but not really a whole lot, is if the chloride levels are high enough, is that going to set some of the residents into the thought of, are we all going to need to get new water softeners? And because that's what some of the discussions have been about, and I don't have an answer for them. But I don't want to set off an alarm that, okay, everyone's going to have to get a new one, because they're already getting solicited by someone else that the city has nothing to do with, about saltless water softeners. So that's the only thing I just wanted to comment on, is that we just, hopefully we don't cause any sort of concern, or keep the concern down to a minimum. Yeah.
So, to get this study done, it's gonna cost us $9,500. Where are we taking, wastewater. Where are we taking, a sewer, CIP, I see that. Okay, somebody wanna make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve $9,500 for Bolton and Mank to study the chloride and sodium limits for the wastewater spray irrigation with funds to come from the sewer CIP.
Second.
Motion's been made by Paul, seconded by Megan, to approve $9,500 for Bolton and Mink, Inc., to study the chloride and sodium limits for the wastewater spray irrigation from funds to come from the sewer CIP. Any more discussion, questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passed. And off our update, we have the contract with the police officers, the memorandum of agreement.
Yeah, I'll go over just a few highlights from this. There are some similarities between this and the ASME contract. For example, the paid holidays are the same.
Yep.
Obviously, the determination of when overtime starts or shift differential, that also changed, kind of in line what we did with the ASME contract. Something that is different on this is the paid medical insurance. It's 100% paid for the officer and family, so it'll be 100% paid. We had an MOU last year that the sabbatical will be 3 years instead of 5 years. The change here will be that it'll be ongoing 3 years. So every 3 years, an officer will be eligible to take a sabbatical. I'm trying to look at what else are different from the previous contract here.
Bereavement, that was a little different, but
Bereavement slightly different, not quite in line with the ASME contract.
a little less, yeah.
Retirement plan, the same thing. And then, one thing to highlight here is obviously we have a sergeant position now, so we have kind of two pay scales now, one for a regular police officer, one for the sergeant officer position. And, yeah, then we talk about the wages, the wage increases for 25, 26, and 27. There's also different between a regular officer and the sergeant to try to catch up with what we saw in the surrounding communities that are, I guess, comparable to Painesville. So we want to be able to at least be competitive. Right now, we're not as competitive as we should be. And I mean, those are the key highlights. Obviously, you probably read the detail of it, but those are the highlights.
So, does anybody have any questions on the contract or anything you want us to explain? I think it went well. Everybody seems happy. We averaged, like Tarek said, we checked the towns around us that are closer to our size, and we averaged what they're getting paid, and we were under. So the first year is bringing them up to the average, so that's why a big start. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I think it was a good contract, so if there's nothing more, then we can go for a motion.
See one anywhere.
On the updates, yeah.
Where?
I'll tell you here in a sec.
What were you?
Does it just go straight from the contract into the discussion, or into the wage? And then into the,
Yeah, what happened to that update? Was it on the previous one here?
no, because it's,
Because it originally was, hold on. Yep, 85.
Didn't we already make the motion?
Here it is.
no, that was the other,
No, that was the other one. They asked me. This is the police officers.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the memorandum of agreement between the city of Painesville and LELS local number 489.
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion or questions? Okay. Motion was made by Megan, seconded by Neil to approve the memorandum of agreement between the city of Painesville and LELS Local 489. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's another 3-year contract we got going.
2-year contract.
No, it was 3.
It's 3?
It's 3. We offered 3. They
Oh, that's
said
right, yeah, no, they were suggesting 2, we
But
wanted to
it's-
match at 3, sorry.
25, 26, and
I know,
27.
my bad, I was thinking
What do
2.
you know? Because we were surprised they,
I know, I was even saying, let's go with 3, but okay,
yeah.
for some reason I had 2 in my
But we're
head.
not gonna do anything with this non-union or non-union part of
No.
it, okay. Then, we will, I should have said ahead of time that we're gonna go into a closed meeting to discuss a land swap. And, but before we do that, I'll go over the informational that we have. West Central sanitation garbage rates, August and September meeting schedules, Lake Avenue and Highway 23 lighting petition that I don't know that there's much we can do with that. Liquor store reports, June end month reports, June month end, and Stearns County Environmental Office Board of Adjustment public hearing notice. So, with that, we're going to go into a closed session. I will read this legal jubilees that I have to read. City council will make motions, I will make the motion, and vote on such motion to meet in closed session as permitted by Minnesota State Statute Section 13.D.03, 13D.05, Subdivision 3, to discuss a land swap of real property located at 70.39363.007, or a portion of 70.39095.0000 and 70.39388.000. Is there a second? I made the motion.
Second.
Okay. So we're now going into, I suppose we should vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we can go into closed session.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Okay, we're back in open meeting, and after discussion in our closed session, basically we have decided to authorize our city attorney to draft an agreement on a land swap. Anything else I need to say? And
I'm gonna ask a dumb question, but when I've drafted it, do we want to present it to him as a signed document by the city? So we've already signed it, so it's ready?
you know, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
As long as he doesn't make any amendments to it.
We
Well, that's the
can't-
point of signing it.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll do it, I'll get it.
Okay.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we will be adjourned.
All right.
All right.